All right, hello everyone. So, this episode is going to be our free agent episode. Now, if you're looking at the screen, obviously, I've already done all of free agency. And the reason for this is the way that I do my league is I kind of control every team, like, somewhat, right? I'm going to do the trades for every team to make sure they all are making trades that make sense for them. I'm going to be obviously very fair to each team and do what I think each team should do, right? So I'm not going to because I don't like one team, make their decisions really bad, right? So because I do that, free agency kind of has to be done in a different way where I control each team and I sign all their contracts. And because of that, there's not really a way for me to go through that while it's happening in a way that makes sense in my opinion. So instead, what I'm going to do is I've already done all of free agency, obviously. And what we're going to do is just right after this, we're going to get into big sign-in trades that happen and any trades that happen during free agency, because there's been a couple of big sign-in trades that happened. And so we're going to get into those instantly. So you'll see the sign-in trades, the big deals. And then after that, we're just going to go through every team's roster and talk about, maybe go over who they signed, but mainly just go over what the roster looks like so that, we can kind of piece together what happened in free agency, and you'll get to see, oh, this guy signed here, obviously, but free agency isn't even really a thing anymore that much, because of apron rules and the salary cap, especially in 2K, because every team is over the salary cap because 2K doesn't handle free agency correctly, and they make every player want so much money. So you kind of have to do it yourself for it to make sense and not have a bunch of really good players still in the free agency pool. So I already did all that. We're done. But yeah, so after this, we're gonna go straight into big sign-in trades that happened, and then we're gonna go over every team, who they have. Well, player progression this year, we're not gonna go through because of all the adjustments I made to the rosters. Player progression is going to make no sense because it's gonna show, because I made the additions to the roster, it's gonna show, oh, this player got a lot better, when in reality I was just adjusting them when the season started. So those adjustments aren't actually player progression, that's just what they were. So player progression this season will not be a thing. We're not even going to look at that. There's no real point to. We'll do a bit of some summer league stuff. We'll look at our team. We might play a game and simulate through the summer league cup thing that they have. But we're not going to spend too much time on summer league. And then after that, we're just going to be into the next season. We'll obviously look at what All-Star City is going to be for next year. And then we're going to be into the next season. So, that's what we're going to be doing this episode. Hope you guys are ready. Hope you guys are ready for these big trades that are about to happen. These big sign trades. There are some big ones, I will say. And I want y'all to keep in mind one more thing. I do run this league with a realism in mind. So some of these deals might not be super hyper realistic, but I do think in this universe that we have, they make some sense, and they might not be perfect, and not everybody might like them, but that's okay, because that's how this realm or this universe of the NBA is going on. But it might not be what everybody agrees with, and it might not seem super realistic. Some of my moves might not be the most realistic, but I try my best to keep it as realistic as I can while still making it fun. So without further ado, we're gonna get into the sign-in trades. I hope you guys are ready, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. All right, bang! We got Quentin Grimes here. Now, Quentin Grimes is gonna be signing a 3-year deal with a player option on that last year, and he is going to be signing with the Sixers, but then he is going to be getting traded. This is a sign-in trade the Sixers are doing, and they're doing this because they don't really want to pay Quentin Grimes all this money, but Quentin Grimes is also not worth nothing, so they're going to be trading Quentin Grimes and a first-round pick to the Pelicans for Herbert Jones. Herb Jones, obviously fantastic defender. The Sixers were fantastic last year, and they're going to be adding a great defensive player to their team who is super versatile and can defend really great. So that's a great move for them. Another deal that is going to be getting done this offseason is the Utah Jazz re-signing Robert Williams III, the Time Lord, to a $17.5 million deal, team option at the end of it. But this is actually going to be a sign and trade. So this is going to be basically more additions to what they got from the Lauri Markkanen trade. And he is going to be going to, drum roll please, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this trade looks a bit unbalanced just because they rate Rob Dillingham so high. Rob Dillingham has been really bad in real life. So he's kind of just going to be a project player for them. And they're also going to be getting Leonard Miller, who is another project player. But it's two interesting pieces that the Jazz, if they want to work with them and push them into being something, they absolutely can. But they don't really have to. It's just in addition to the Lauri Markkanen trade. So it's just like you're just adding assets on and on and on. So yeah, they're going to go with this one. Major trade alert. Major trade alert involving us too. Now, a couple things we need to go over. This is a very biased trade. A very biased trade. I'm admitting that right now. This is a very biased trade. I love Cam Thomas. Now, would the Kings do this in real life? Maybe. They're not that great of a franchise, so they might do something like this. But it doesn't matter because, like I said, once we go into the offseason, this is my team now. I own this team. I make the shots, or I call the shots, right? So basically what's happening here is the Pelicans are trying to rebuild and get rid of Zion. So they're trading Zion to the Nets. The Nets are giving up 2 kind of meh first-round picks to the Pelicans for that. And we're also helping with 2 second-round picks going to the Pelicans. That's helping facilitate that Zion deal. Just want to add something in here. We are also sending Devin Carter to the Pelicans in this deal for salary cap and player number purposes. Just, it's not on the screen, but we are doing that as well. Thank you. And then we're also sending Dennis Schroeder to the Nets for Cam Thomas. So essentially what we're doing is helping them facilitate the Zion deal. So these picks are kind of helping Zion go to the Nets. And then we're also sending Dennis Schroeder to the Nets. Now, the reason the Nets would do this is they do not have their pick next year. So if you look at this, they don't have their pick. It's a swap worse with the Rockets. So the Rockets are going to have their pick. So they want to kind of at least be decent next year. They have no reason to be bad. So they're going to get a pretty okay point guard, better than anybody they have on their team. Starting caliber. Maybe fringe starting caliber, but he can play. And they're gonna get Zion, who is a talent, and he's good. So he has potential. So they get the potential and the rebuilding aspect of that, and they also get he's good now. So he's gonna help them now. So I think this is a really interesting trade. It might not be perfect. It might not like make perfect sense. We're like, oh yeah, I think every team would do this 100%. That might not be the case, but we're living in this universe, and in this universe, this is the trade that's happening. So I think it's really fun and really interesting for pretty much every team. The Pelicans just get picks to rebuild. They're entering a rebuild. It's also going to help them with the rotations a bit because they were pretty forward heavy, but with the moves, they're probably going to move Grimes to the shooting guard, and they'll have Fears, Grimes, Avdallas, Kuminga, and then Derek Queen, which I think is a really interesting team. The Nets are going to have a crazy lineup because they have a lot of forwards. What they're going to probably end up doing is moving MPJ to the 3. They're going to play AJ at the 2, which I think is really interesting. And then they'll have Claxton, Zion, and Dennis Schroeder. Really interesting team. Is it great? Probably not. Not a lot of spacing. Maybe they work on that with a couple of their other additions, just like picking up guys. Maybe they trade some of their other guys. I don't know yet, but they're going to do this trade. I think their team is going to be really interesting, super long, super athletic, super versatile. Like that team is going to be really, really fun, in my opinion. And they're getting rid of Cam Thomas, who the Nets don't want anyway. And his trade value is like really low. and we're only trading for him because I really like him and I see a lot of potential in him. And I am gonna kind of nerf him a bit because in 2K I think it kind of like overrates him. So I am gonna nerf him a bit. I'm gonna make sure like his durability isn't super high because he does have lingering hamstring issues, and I'm also gonna make sure like his shooting stats aren't like too high. But he's still gonna be a really good player for us, and he's gonna be, you know, a part of our team in the future. So that's gonna be really interesting. And hey, I don't know, it might not work out for us, and if it doesn't, that's okay. Also, just to be clear, this is a sign and trade deal, so we're gonna be paying him $23 million a year, and scaling upwards. But yeah, I think it's a bit crazy. It is a bit crazy, but we're rebuilding anyway, so it doesn't matter. So if the contract is bad, hey, that's if he plays bad, hey, that's great. We're rebuilding. We get picks. If he plays good, hey, we got him in a kind of a steal because nobody wanted him. So that's gonna be this deal, and everybody's gonna accept, and it's gonna go through. And I think that's really fun. I think that's a really fun trade. So yeah. Another trade alert. So basically what's happening in this one is the Wizards signed CJ McCollum to about $20 million a year. He's getting older, so he's gonna get less money. But he's got a team option on the second year, so if he's not as good enough for the $20 million, then you know they can not accept that, and then he's off the books, and that allows the Raptors to get off of Emmanuel Quickley's horrendous contract, but also get, you know, a good shooting guard who can pretty much like supplement Emmanuel Quickley's game pretty well. And it's only going to cost them Emmanuel Quickley in 2 second-round picks. So I think this is a pretty good trade for both teams. The Wizards are getting, you know, some second-round picks for the future and a decent younger point guard than CJ McCollum, who is going to start for them, and he's going to be a little bit of a vet in the locker room because they don't have a lot of those. So that's going to be good for the Wizards as well. So they're going to do this trade. And boom. On to the next one. We got lots of these coming. And another deal. This one is pretty simple. It's just going to be a Jeremy Grant, Rui Hachimura swap. The Jazz get a younger, more potential player. And again, they just get more and more from that Laurie trade that they did. Because Jeremy Grant was something that they received from that. So they're just getting more and more assets from that trade. Jeremy Grant, a bit older than Rui. Not as friendly of a contract, but it's not going to be there much longer. But he's going to go to the Lakers. He's going to be alongside Luka, kind of similar to like a PJ Washington light kind of player who, you know, played really well alongside Luka in Dallas. So I think somebody like Jeremy Grant could play really well alongside Luka in LA. So that's this deal. On to the next one. Bang, 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 bang. The Miami Heat are trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo. They are trading their first-round pick, Ndame Sarr, Tyler Hero, Kel'el Ware, Kasparas Yakuchonas, their 2030 first-round pick, Nikola Jovic, and they're also going to trade their 2031 first-round pick, which they don't have in 2K, but when it gets there, they'll have it. So, yeah. Now, you really can't get enough for Giannis in any universe unless it's like you're trading him to the Spurs for Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle and a bunch of picks. But the Spurs didn't want to do that, and Giannis demanded a trade after them losing. So this is what it's gonna be. He's gonna get to go to a big market in Miami Heat, and he could have gone to the Knicks, but with the Knicks going to the finals, I just didn't think it made sense for them to go for a Giannis trade. Maybe it does, but I just didn't want to like force it, especially because they just made the finals. So it's like, why would they try and break up their core? But he's gonna go to a big market that he wants to go to. Milwaukee's gonna get a haul of young players back, and yeah. Giannis is leaving Milwaukee. Milwaukee's going to start a rebuild, and Miami is going to make a push because they had a good year last year. They were high in the standings, but they really didn't do much in the playoffs, and they're going to be making a push now. to really do something in the playoffs. They're going to have DeMar DeRozan, Bam Adebayo, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Davion Mitchell still on the team. Andrew Wiggins is still on the team. They still have Jaime Jaquez, who can come off the bench and be a really good sixth man for them. I think he won sixth man of the year. So they still got some depth, and they're gonna have Giannis. So it's not even really gonna matter. So yeah, this is gonna be the trade. Giannis is now on the Heat. All right. So I hope you guys liked some of the sign-in trades that happened. If you didn't, that's okay too. But that was like a big part of the offseason, all those sign-in trades. Now, there could still be some moves during the season, obviously, like the trade deadline, But, there's still going to be more moves, as the season goes on. But those are going to be all the trades for now. So there's a couple teams that didn't make moves, like the Cavs and the Magic. They're probably looking to make moves during the season because they couldn't get any deals done that they liked, during the offseason done. But they're still going to be looking during the season, so those moves aren't off the table. But anyway, let's just get into the rosters of every team, see what they got working. So Sixers got Maxey, Edgecombe, Joel Embiid, Paul George still. They got Jared McCain. They added Herb Jones. So they're going to have a starting lineup of Paul George, Herbert Jones, Joel Embiid, VJ Edgecombe, and Maxey. So they're going to have a really competitive and still like young-ish team. They got to work with Justin Edwards taking an overall jump. Bona getting a bit better. You got Kelly Oubre still. They added on Cole Anthony. Janai Broom getting a bit better. They got Watford. They added Shake Milton. And yeah, the Bucks. Wow, the Bucks made a massive move trading Giannis. They have a super young team now. They still got Miles Turner. They got Tyler Hero, Ryan Rollins. That's going to be a crazy backcourt. Great scoring from both of them. Khalil Ware they added, who can start at the power forward this season. A long time Miles Turner. That's a shot blocking duo in the front court. They still have Gary Trent, Bobby Portis. They're gonna have Yaku Shonez for some development. They're gonna have Jovic, AJ Green, Kyle Kuzma. They got Yesufu, who's down here. Dame Sarr. They got a lot of guys. The Bulls, they got Anthony Davis, Josh Giddey. Their team is pretty similar. They added Howe in the draft, obviously, and then they stuck with a lot of the guys. They added a couple bench guys at the end of their team to just round out their lineups. The Cavs didn't really make too many moves either, besides adding Ngbo, but they're probably going to be looking to make some moves during the season, almost guaranteed that they will do that. So that's an interesting thing. Tatum is coming back to the Celtics. Obviously, he was hurt last year, but he's going to come back this year. They obviously added Daniel Gafford. Jordan Walsh has gotten better. Hugo Gonzalez has gotten better. Minot is pretty good. They added Phylon. They added the other two rookies at the end of the bench who maybe get like spot minutes here and there, but not too many changes with this team. Just adding Tatum back from injury is a big one for them. Not too many moves for the Clippers either, but the Clippers can't even really add that many people because of, their insane cap situation. But they did add Bagley, who was with the Wizards last season, as like some depth in that back or in the front court. And then they added Tyus Jones as a point guard backup if they need one. Grizzlies, not adding too much besides Mullins obviously in the draft and Toppin as well, but their team is sticking pretty similar. The Hawks, obviously, they have a big question with Trae Young. They just went ahead and gave him the max. They gave him as much as they could, but Trae is just because they gave him the contract doesn't mean they're not thinking about trading him. If this team isn't going well, that could be a trade candidate to go to any team that really needs like a point guard to further in their franchise and for the future. So he's here for now. He got the money he wanted, but that doesn't mean he's safe. They got Dyson Daniels. They got Reece Sachet, obviously. Some of their guys got a bit better. Newell and Mohamed Gay got better. And then they got Sanak, obviously. And they added a couple of veterans as well. The Heat, obviously, had to pick up a lot of guys. They added Giannis, so they're going to have Giannis, Bam, DeRozan, Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell, Jaime Jaquez, Davion Mitchell. Like, those top guys are really good. Pele Larson's also still here. They added Zaire Williams, who's going to be pretty decent coming off the bench. They added Andre Drummond. They added a Dinwiddie. They added Alec Burks to their roster, just rounding out some of the end of their bench stuff. The Hornets didn't really add anybody. They're sticking with a pretty similar roster. Not too many changes besides the guys they drafted in Koa Pete. The Jazz had a lot of money to work with, so they spent some money. And their team is super well-rounded, but has no real star frontlining it. So hopefully maybe Ace can really pull ahead in that star conversation. They got Keontae still here. Ace still here from last year. They signed Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis was out there, and nobody was really offering him any money, and the Jazz had the money to offer him, so they said, why not just add some depth? If Walker Kessler is injured ever, then they're going to have that backup center, and he can also run the 4 if he needs to sometimes. They still got Senzabel. They obviously have Walker Kessler. Walter Clayton Jr. is still here. They got Collier. They added Anthony Simons, another guy. They had so much money that they just went ahead and gave him a pretty lofty contract. But he's another guy kind of like Trae Young, where he might not be here for the whole contract that he has, just because they don't really need him. But they're like, why not sign the guy, build up his trade value, and then trade him, you know? They still got a lot of other guys. They obviously added Rui and Rob Dillingham. So they got a really deep team and a lot of guys. So they're probably going to make some moves during the regular season just to, consolidate some of their assets because they have such a well-rounded team. But they're going to be an interesting team to watch going forward just because they are so well-rounded. Our team, obviously. I know during the offseason it might not seem like we talk about our team specifically so much because we're going over all the other teams, but we got a similar team. We're adding in Cam Thomas. Him and Malik Monk are going to really battle for those shooting guard 1 spots. And I don't know who's going to get it. They're really going to have to battle each other for it. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Nate Clifford taking a jump. He was fantastic this season, I think. For, where we picked him, I think he was a great role player. He averaged 8 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, but that really doesn't give credence to what he really did. And since the All-Star break, he was averaging 9 points, almost 4 rebounds, 2 assists. So I think it was a really good pick for us, and he's going to have a lot of value this season. We still have John Collins, Keon Ellis. Ellis is, I don't know. I love Ellis so much. I love his game, but we're really, not wealthy in terms of guards, but we have so many different guards and forwards that I don't know where his minutes are going to come, but we're going to try and get him minutes, and if we can't, we might have to trade him, which isn't great, but at least we paid him some money, so, we don't feel too bad. Ray Allen is going to have a much bigger role this year on the team. He's going to be our full-time backup center. We had Precious Achiuwa running that some last year. We had Eubanks running it some, but Ray Allen is going to be the guy, and then our rookie, Kingston Flemings. I don't know if he's going to start point guard day one, but we kind of want to work him up to there, but I don't think we're going to start him off the back just because he's a rookie. We don't want to just give him the reins all for the rep. We want to kind of work him up to there. We still got Chris Dunn. We got Bogdanovich. We added 2 vets and Daniel Tice and DeLon Wright, 2 vets who can hopefully mentor our guys a little bit. And then we got Dylan Cardwell, who is going to be our 3rd string center, and Ryan Conwell, who is going to be probably seeing a lot of G League minutes this year, and hopefully progressing his game some. Who knows if we see him during the actual season or not. The Knicks, they got Brunson, Towns, OG. They got all their guys. They obviously added their rookie. They added Jordan Clarkson. They got Huck Porty back. They added DeAndre Jordan just for some vet minutes. He probably won't touch the court, but he's a good vet to have on the team. The Lakers, big moves for the Lakers, honestly. They re-signed Sexton for a pretty decent deal. I think it's around 15 to 18 million. It's about 19 million. So it's a lot of money, but Sexton's a great scorer off the bench, great 6-man kind of player. They obviously re-signed Reeves. And they re-signed LeBron because, you know, LeBron's not going to go without a team for his last year, obviously, and it just makes sense for him to return to the Lakers. But he's returning on a $35 million deal, so he's not taking up $50 million. He gave him about $15 million back that he was going to take from them, and it's probably going to be his last year. So hopefully they can make some motion. Jake LaRavia got a bit better in the offseason. DeAndre Ayton is still here. They re-signed him on a 1+1, and then Jeremy Grant's here. I think Jeremy Grant's going to fit in pretty well, considering. I think he's really going to fit into that PJ Washington-esque role that PJ played alongside Luka. They obviously got Thibault, who they traded for. They got Thiero, who's gotten a bit better. They're still going to have Jackson Hayes. They added Fontecchio and Koloko. I think Koloko was already here, but they added Fontecchio for some bench depth as well and good shooting. So they're still on Bronny. Bronny progressed a bit. He probably gets more minutes this year. Then we're on to the Magic. Their team's very similar. Not too many changes at all, really. They obviously had Steinbach and Boozer, but I think that was pretty much it for them. Oops, I went to the Wizards. Ignore that. For the Mavericks, they obviously got Mikal Brown Jr. They probably will make. They're all another team that is pretty well-rounded. That they could make a move during the season to kind of consolidate some of these assets into something that will fit better around Cooper Flag, who they're focusing on building around from now on. So yeah, but they do have Mikal Brown, and they added back Dwight Powell on a minimum just because he's a Maverick guy. But yeah, they might make a move during the season to consolidate on some of these assets because they got a lot of wings that are good like filler pieces in trades. So maybe they make a little small trade to fit some stuff around Cooper a bit better. Obviously the Nets, the Nets, they made a lot of moves. They got Zion, they got AJ in the draft, and then they got Schroeder as well. Their rookies are progressing a bit. They still got Abaji, and they got some other rookies. So they're a really odd team because they're so young, but they also like have some decent guys that are going to help them compete a bit this year and hopefully not be one of the worst teams in the league because they don't have their draft pick. So competing is going to be important, but also developing the young guys is going to be important. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And they brought Dennis Schroeder back, who was here last season and was, or 2 seasons ago in real life. Well, or last season in real life, 2 seasons ago as of right now. But he was great for them when he played here, and then they traded him to get some value, but he's going to return and help them hopefully push for a at least play-in spot. Nuggets, not too many big moves, just keeping a lot of their young guys, re-signing some of their guys that were going to expire, and Bruce Brown and Hardaway Jr. Same thing for the Pacers, not adding too much besides their rookies. Pelicans obviously made a lot of moves. They're going to have a really young team going forward with Fears, Queen, Kuminga. They got Quentin Grimes in that sign-and trade. They got Yves Missy, Jordan Hawkins, nice shooter, Rudy Gobert to help hopefully mentor Derek Queen and Yves Missy, and hopefully they can get a little bit better defensively because Derek Queen is not super great defensively. They got Devin Carter, of course, in that trade for Cam Thomas. They got Pajimski last year, but they still have Abdallas from the draft. They got Sadiq Bey. They have honestly a pretty decent young team. Nothing too crazy, but they're going to keep progressing and they're going to be a really good team. The Pistons, same team. They the biggest note for them is they re-signed Jaden Ivey, and they didn't trade him yet. But I wouldn't hold on to him too close if you were a Piston fan, because he could very well be a guy at the trade deadline where they want to really take a jump to the next level, and he could be the guy that gets traded away for that, because they re-signed him to about a $20 million, $22 million deal, but they're still not certain that he's the future for their team. Obviously, they got Cade, they got Duran, they got Asar. I think they're set on those 3, but they don't know if Ivy is going to be in that spot, and if he's not, he's a good trade asset, so they could be using that going forward. The Raptors are pretty much the same, except for the quickly CJ trade, adding in CJ, who's a great shooter and can help hopefully lead the offense a bit, and just helps them compete a little bit more now, because I think they do want to compete with this team. They added a Cuff Jr., who's a great point guard. He can probably learn a lot behind CJ, so I think that's really great for them. They still got some young guys at the end of their bench they're going to try and compete this year and actually, make the playoffs. Rockets, pretty similar team, keeping a lot of their guys, adding in some guys at the end of the bench just to fill out spots, but same team for the most part. Spurs, same team for the most part. Not too many changes besides adding in some young guys. Suns, again, kind of in that same area. Not too many changes. They added in Westbrook for some point guard depth, which is good. They still got Gillespie. They still got Kobe Brea. But they added in Westbrook was one of their big signings to add some depth to that point guard position. Maybe Devin Booker will be able to move to the shooting guard sometimes and play his more natural position. And who knows, maybe Jalen Green will get traded this season because he only has this year and then a player option left. So maybe that contract isn't looking horrible for some of the other teams and he'll be able to get traded if they want to. We'll see. Thunder keeping a lot of their guys. They added Corey Kispert, obviously, and they got a bunch of young guys as well. Some of these teams might have to cut some of these players just because they have too many right now, but for now, this is the teams that they got. The Timberwolves, they're kind of on not a clock because we're obviously not, timing them or anything, but they're a young team, but they need to start competing because they went to 2 conference finals in a row with Ant, and then this year they completely missed the playoffs. So they trying to buy in with getting DeJounte Murray and then getting rid of Rudy, and I think gives their team a little bit more depth in the guard position for sure because they're going to have KPJ coming off the bench now, which is a lot. Probably they feel a lot better with that, and they're going to have DeJounte Murray starting, which I think is going to feel good for them. They added in some center depth with Robert Williams and Barry J getting better, and then they added in Achua for some more depth. They added in Landry Shamet, and they're keeping Zakarsky on a 2-way. This team, this is a dangerous team. This is going to be a very interesting team. Damian Lillard's coming back from his Achilles tear. They got Markkanen, they got Avdia, they got Sharp. They're such a deep team. They also had the first overall pick. It's crazy saying all that and then also saying they have the first overall pick. They're going to have Darren Peterson. Scoot is a massive trade candidate. They were probably looking to trade Scoot maybe for some center depth or just any, really great players that they can add to this team to help them contend because they are going for it this season. They have such a good roster. It's a well-rounded, and Scoot is such a good trade chip. He will definitely be on the trade block for them going into next season. The Warriors, pretty similar team. They competed last year. They're going to try and compete again. They're not a super great team. They're kind of getting really old. Hopefully Steph can carry this team in probably what is his last year. Jimmy Butler, I think this is his last contract year, so who knows if he comes back. Trey Murphy is going to be here. They traded for him last year. He's a great addition for them. They made it pretty far in the playoffs. They're going to have D'Anthony Melton coming back. I think they had him either last year or 2 years ago, but he was hurt. Will Richards coming back. Of course, he's the rookie from last year who played great for them last year. Draymond Green's getting older, so he's regressing them a little bit. Guy Santos is coming back. They picked up Zach Collins just for some depth. Gary Payton's coming back. Ben Simmons, obviously, just for some depth. He can kind of play a semi-Draymond-esque role when Draymond isn't on the court. And they brought back Clay and Buddy Hield, obviously. They added the rookie, and Quentin Post is still here as well. For the Wizards, this is another interesting team. A lot of development going on with Asar and Keyshawn, both of them progressing really well. They got Trey Johnson, who's progressing pretty well. Bilal's here. Chris Middleton re-signed here. He's going to be here for now. Who knows if he stays. They added Quickly in, so they could be a little bit competitive this year. They got some good players in Keyshawn and Sar, and they got a good, decent starting point guard in Quickly. So they're going to do a kind of development, but also competing a little bit this year. Obviously, they got Caleb Wilson, their first-round pick, so they're going to have a really interesting team, and it's going to be interesting how they, do their lineups and stuff, which will probably go, I don't know if we'll go over every team's lineup because that'll kind of be a lot. But yeah, that's all the teams rosters right now. And then I think we're going to get into Summer League now. I think we're just going to go through it pretty quickly. Maybe jump into games. I don't know if we'll play any full games just because I think Summer League is not too interesting in the grand scheme of things. In terms of 2K, obviously in real life, Summer League's great because you have such a drought of basketball, so it's great to see. But this is 2K, so there's not a drought. We just kind of send past it. But yeah, well, if I go through that, you'll see some stuff from that. But yeah, we're nearing the end of the off season, so let's just get it over with, I guess. Okay, yeah, I was looking at it and I was gonna dabble into the summer league a bit, but then I looked at it and like for the Kings summer, or not the Kings, sorry, that's us of course. For like a team like the Wizards, that their summer league team, you know, you build it manually, you want to like, you know, control it a little bit. They're having Alex Sarr, Trey Johnson maybe would play in the summer league like one game, but like Alex Sarr would not touch the summer league. So I'm just not even gonna really go through it. I don't think there's a real point to it. I'll probably just fill it out automatically, and then I'll just send to the end, and I'll just show you guys who won. But yeah, I'm not gonna go through it fully in depth, so I'll just show you guys who won. All right, so the Suns ended up winning the summer league, which is pretty cool for their rookie Cameron Carr, and then obviously they had a couple guys from last year in there as well. Like Oso Ighodaro is playing in the summer league. What the hell is that? But yeah, so that's what happened in the summer league, and we'll just get into next season now. So the All-Star game next year will be in Atlanta, Georgia, which is pretty cool. I've driven through Atlanta a couple times. It's a pretty nice city, I think. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really stay long there, but I drove through it. But that's going to be cool for the Hawks, because they should have at least one All-Star in either Trae Young or Jalen Johnson. If Trae Young's still there, we don't really know. But yeah, that's a cool city to have an All-Star game in. And then, yeah, we're just going to auto-generate this draft class, because we're going to go with, auto-generated draft class from here on out. And then we're going to advance to next season. And I'll deal with the rosters, but... Alright, small trade to throw in at the end of the video. The Thunder are doing this because they have way too many players on the roster, and... yeah, so they're going to send Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins to the Jazz. The Jazz are going to send over Leonard Miller. He's going to get cut, probably. So then the Jazz are just going to get two like decent players. They can play if they need them, and then they're giving up like OKC's pick in the future for this. So OKC is clearing some more cap, and they're also getting some more player spots open because their roster is loaded because they have so many picks and they keep getting young guys in. So they're using some of their young guys to get more picks back. So yeah, simple trade at the end of the video just to round out the rosters. Yeah, this is going to be us going into the next season, so I'll see you guys in the next episode. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. I know the past couple episodes have been more of just informational episodes where we're like drafting, not a lot of gameplay, but hope you guys are enjoying the series. Subscribe if you want to keep up with it. Like the video if you like the video, obviously. And I really appreciate all you guys who watch these videos. And leave any suggestions you have in the comments. I think we're going to be implementing something next episode, which will be pretty fun, and I'll talk about that during next episode. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you watch the next ones as well.